The council chamber was a cathedral of alien splendor, an amphitheater of glass-like stone, suspended in orbit above a blue-white star. Dozens of species watched from tiered balconies, their luminescent eyes and chitinous masks turned toward the lone human standing in the center. Admiral Eric Voss, broad-shouldered in a black fleet uniform, seemed almost insignificant under the vastness of the hall. Yet his voice, sharp and deliberate, carved through the silence. "You think we're afraid of you?" His tone was flat, but each syllable carried iron weight. "You believe your fleets and your empires mean anything to us?" The delegates murmured in a chorus of alien tongues. Their colors shifted, emerald to crimson, silver to black, signs of unease. Voss took a step forward. "We've buried gods. We've burned empires. Your warnings are empty. Come for us, and you'll leave in ashes." High Archon Virex, seated on the central dais, tilted his elongated, bone-white head. His voice was smooth as polished stone, the words vibrating through the air. "Human, you mistake defiance for power. You are but a fractured species clinging to a fragile homeworld. We offer you order. Refuse, and you'll meet the same fate as those who defied the empire before you." Voss allowed himself a faint, humorless smile. "Then you'll find we don't play by your rules." He activated a holomap on his wrist. A web of orbital cannons and defense satellites shimmered above the table. This is Earth's defensive grid. It can shred fleets before they enter low orbit. And this... He expanded the map to show the outer colonies, dotted with asteroid fields rigged with railgun arrays. "Is our promise we won't go quietly." The chamber erupted with chatter. Some species hissed in disbelief. Others blinked rapidly, signaling alarm. Voss waited, arms folded, until the noise subsided. "Humanity," Virex said, his voice colder now, "was invited into the Empire's fold for your own survival. You have chosen arrogance over unity." "Unity?" Voss's voice rose. "Your empire doesn't unite, it consumes. You demand subservience, strip cultures, erase names. We fought our own tyrants. We won't kneel to yours." The Archon's black eyes narrowed. "You cannot withstand us. We are endless. We are the law of the stars." Voss leaned in slightly, his gaze unflinching. "Then test us. But remember this. We are not like your other conquests. We don't fight for glory or territory. We fight because we have nothing to lose but our freedom, and that makes us dangerous." The silence stretched. A dozen alien delegates shifted uncomfortably. Even Virex's tone faltered for the briefest moment. A faint static buzzed in Voss's earpiece, a signal from the iron citadel in orbit above Earth. "Admiral," came the low voice of Captain Rainahale, his second-in-command, "the Council's drones are scanning our transmissions. Do we proceed?" "Proceed," Voss whispered back. He tapped the console on his wrist, projecting a second hologram into the air. A recording of a battle played. A skirmish in which a human corvette, outnumbered 5-1, had turned an alien strike force into drifting wreckage with a mixture of precision strikes and self-sacrificing maneuvers. The footage ended with the corvette's captain saluting before his ship disintegrated in a controlled detonation that wiped out the enemy flagship. "This is what happens," Voss said, voice low and deliberate. "When you corner us, we turn desperation into strategy. We turn fear into fire. We are not the prey you think we are." Virex stood. His movement was deliberate, like a predator preparing to strike. "Your defiance is noted," he said. "But know this, when we come, we will not negotiate again." "Good," Voss replied, his tone like steel drawn from a sheath. "Neither will we." The council session dissolved in chaos. Delegates stormed out, some gliding, some crawling on insect-like limbs, their voices rising in alien tones of warning or outrage. Voss watched them leave, his face unreadable. As the chamber emptied, Virex paused at the dais. "You will regret this arrogance," he said, voice carrying a venomous calm. "Maybe," Voss said, stepping backward toward the exit. "But if you think humanity will go quietly into your empire, you've already made your first mistake." The Iron Citadel's docking bay smelled of oil, scorched metal, and ozone, the scent of a ship built for war. Voss walked through the airlock, boots ringing against steel plating. Captain Hale met him, dark hair tied back, her expression taut. "Not exactly a diplomatic success," she said. "They weren't here to listen," Voss replied, stripping off his gloves. "They've already made up their minds. So have we." She fell in step beside him as they moved toward the command deck. "The Council's eyes were on you. Some of them looked nervous." "They should be," Voss said. "Fear is the only language they understand. We just gave them a reason to reconsider." On the bridge, holographic displays floated above the crew stations. Tactical Officer Brandt looked up from his console. "Admiral, we've intercepted chatter from the Empire's fleet. They're mobilizing. Multiple dreadnoughts on the move." "Expected," Voss said, glancing at the projection of enemy movements. "How long before they reach Seoul?" 6 days at most." Voss nodded once. "Then we have 6 days to prepare every ship, every weapon, every plan we've got." He turned to Hale. "Contact the colonies. Tell them to activate the defense networks. If the Empire want a war, we'll give them one they'll never forget." Hale hesitated. "And if they overwhelm us?" Voss's eyes hardened, gray like storm clouds over steel. "Then we make them bleed for every inch. We've been underestimated for too long. It's time they learn why humanity is still here." That night, Voss stood at the Citadel's observation deck, staring at the curve of Earth below. The planet gleamed like a jewel. Blue oceans, white storms curling across continents, the faint shimmer of city lights. It was fragile, beautiful, worth every drop of blood. He thought of the Archon's words, of empires and laws of the stars. Humanity had never bowed to empires. Not on Earth. Not now, not ever. "Let them come," Voss murmured to the silent void. "We'll show them what it means to fight a species with fire in its veins." The war room of the Iron Citadel was buried deep within the station's armored core, a circle of cold steel and hollow screens alive with shifting star maps. The hum of reactors reverberated faintly through the floor, an ever-present reminder that the Citadel itself was both fortress and weapon. Admiral Voss stood at the center, hands clasped behind his back, staring at the red markers creeping across the holographic map. The Empire's fleet advancing like a tightening noose. "They're faster than predicted," Captain Hale said, her voice clipped but steady. 5 dreadnoughts, 12 heavy carriers, support craft too numerous to count, all converging on Seoul. "Exactly what we expected," Voss replied. His gray eyes studied the map without blinking. "They're not coming to negotiate. They want to crush us, quickly and decisively." "Then we'll make it slow and costly," muttered Lieutenant Brandt from his station. His fingers danced across a control panel, bringing up simulations. "If we position the Martian rail arrays here," he gestured to a defensive arc near Mars' orbit, "we could cut their formation before they enter Earth's range." "Not enough," Voss said. "We don't win by holding ground. We win by breaking their rhythm. Surprise, confusion, fear, that's our advantage." The room fell silent for a moment, every officer waiting for his next order. Voss turned to Hale. "Status of the colonies?" She pulled up a secondary map. Points of light flared along the edge of human-controlled space. Kepler Station has activated its drone fleet. Titan's defense grid is online. But Outer Rim colonies are vulnerable. If the Empire sweeps past Mars, they'll be exposed. "Evacuate what we can," Voss ordered. "I want every transport loaded with civilians. Those who stay, arm them. Every outpost becomes a fortress." Hale nodded, but her jaw tightened. "Someone want to leave. You know how our people are." A corner of Voss's mouth curved upward. "Good. I want the Empire to see that every human, soldier or not, will fight if cornered." Hours later, Voss sat alone in his quarters. The war room's cold calculations faded into the background as he stared at an old photograph. His family, long gone. His father's stern face. His mother's quiet smile. The wreckage of their lives after Earth's last great war. They'd taught him one thing. Survival wasn't about strength. It was about never surrendering. The door chimed. Hale entered without waiting. "You're not sleeping." "Sleep is a luxury I can't afford," Voss replied. "You keep talking like this war is already on our doorstep." "It is." He set the photo down. 6 days is nothing in a war like this. They think they'll scare us into submission. We need to show them they've already made their first mistake, assuming we're predictable. She crossed her arms. You're planning something. What is it? Something they won't see coming. The next day, the Iron Citadel roared to life. Dock ships were rearmed, their hulls reinforced with scavenged alloy plating. Troop carriers loaded with supplies, and drone swarms dispersed through the system. Voss stood on the command deck as the crew executed his orders with practiced precision. Admiral, Brandt called out, the prototype weapon, Project Harbinger, is nearly operational. Testing shows we can discharge it once before the core overheats. One shot is all we'll need, Voss said. Hale's brow furrowed. If it fails, then we adapt. His tone left no room for argument. Later, a secure transmission arrived from Kepler Station. The face of Commander Elias Crane, scarred and weathered, appeared on the screen. Admiral, Crane said, his voice gravelly, the Empire scouts are already probing our perimeter. We've taken down 3 ships, but they're testing our response time. They're measuring us, Voss replied. Let them, but I want every hit they take to feel like a hammer strike. Crane grinned. That's the Admiral I know. What's the plan? Decoys, minefields, guerrilla tactics, Voss said. We'll stretch their supply lines thin and bleed them before they reach Earth. Understood. We'll make them regret every jump. That evening, Voss met with the Citadel's senior strategist in the observation dome. Beyond the glass, Earth turned silently, a fragile blue sphere against the void. We can't outgun them, said Chief Engineer Myra Salas. Her voice was calm but heavy. Their dreadnoughts carry firepower equal to half our fleet. Then we don't outgun them, Voss replied. We outthink them. We lure them into traps. We make them believe they're winning until the floor collapses under them. Hale leaned forward, and if they adapt faster than we anticipate, Voss looked at her, unwavering. Then we remind them why humans survived a planet that tried to kill us for millennia. We'll improvise until the last ship burns. The room was quiet. Then Salas said softly, You're asking for miracles. I'm asking for the impossible. Voss corrected. It's what we do best. By the 4th day, reports of skirmishes flooded in. A small Empire fleet had engaged human patrols near Kepler Station. The patrols didn't just survive. They annihilated the enemy using improvised ambush tactics, detonating fuel depots disguised as freighters. They'll take notice, Hale remarked, reading the after-action report. They already have, Voss said, a grim satisfaction in his voice. In the quiet hours of the night, Voss stood alone again at the observation deck. He watched the line of defense drones glinting like cold stars as they maneuvered into position above Earth's atmosphere. He thought of the Archon's words, cold threats wrapped in arrogance. The Empire believed humans were reckless, fragile, beneath them. Maybe they were. But that was exactly why they would win. The door slid open behind him. Hale's reflection appeared in the glass. Reinforcements from the Belt colonies just arrived, she said. You got 10 more gunships ready. 10 more teeth to bite back, Voss murmured. Do you ever doubt it? She asked quietly. Voss turned. What? This war. Our chances. He considered for a moment. Every day. But fear's a tool. If I feel it, so do they. And if we use it right, we can make them bleed. The countdown to war had begun. Every corridor of the Iron Citadel buzzed with motion. Engineers welding armor plates, soldiers drilling with cold precision, commanders plotting in silence. Humanity stood on the edge of annihilation, but Voss could feel it like a pulse in his veins. The calm before a storm they were about to unleash. The black void of space burned with sudden fire. A human colony ship, Helio Station, orbiting the Kepler, 9 Moon, shuddered under a brutal rain of plasma bolts. The Empire's testing strike had come without warning, slicing to the outer defense grid. Alarm sirens wailed across the colony network, a hollow scream that reached Admiral Voss's ears seconds after the first barrage. Status, Voss demanded as he stormed onto the Citadel's command deck. Helio shields are failing. Lieutenant Brandt's voice cracked with urgency. Enemy cruisers, 5 confirmed, advancing in wedge formation. Support vessels inbound. Voss's expression hardened. Signal Kepler Station. All ships engage. We hold that colony, or we give them the invitation they want. Aye, Admiral. Hale responded, already barking orders. Launched the Valkyrie wing. Moments later, the Iron Citadel's long-range projection lit the room, a sweeping visual of the battle unfolding near Kepler 9. Human corvettes weave between enemy fire, their smaller, faster frames dancing across the chaos like knives of storm. They're testing us, Voss muttered, reading the formation shift of the Empire's cruisers. This isn't their full hand, just a probe. Then let's break the hand they're showing, Hale said, grim satisfaction in her voice. Helios Station defense line, Kepler 9. The human gunship hunters Dawn led the counterattack, its captain's voice sharp over the comms. All units, flank and scatter. Push them toward the asteroid belt. The belt was no accident. Over the past week, Voss had ordered massive tungsten rods and magnetic charges hidden among the rocks, turning the field into a death trap. Are the mines ready? Hale asked from the Citadel as she monitored the battle. Charges primed, Brand confirmed. We just need them close enough. On the battlefield, the enemy cruisers surged forward, relentless, their energy cannons slicing open a human frigate. The Hunter's Dawn retaliated with railgun rounds that tore through an enemy escort's hull, scattering fragments into space. Admiral, Brand said, tension tightening his words, they're adjusting course. They've spotted the trap. Not yet, Voss said, his voice cool. Force them in. Send Valkyrie's squadron on a suicide run. Hale turned to him sharply. They'll take heavy losses. Voss didn't blink. They know the risks. If this works, it saves 1,000 more lives. Valkyrie squadron, Kepler 9 perimeter. The Valkyries, sleek fighters painted midnight black, screamed across the battlefield. Commander Aidenlock's voice crackled through comms. We've got them chasing us, Admiral. You better have a plan. Lead them through the belt, Voss ordered. Stay fast. Don't look back. Locke grinned, though no one could see it. Copy that. Valkyries on me. The fighters cut hard across the field, skimming dangerously close to the asteroid belt. The Empire cruisers followed, their firepower blazing. Now, Voss said, the asteroid field erupted. Magnetic charges detonated in sequence, propelling tungsten rods at hypersonic speeds. The first enemy cruiser was pierced clean through, splitting in two. The second buckled under the shockwave, vending plasma like arterial blood into the void. 2 confirmed kills, Brand shouted. Third cruiser crippled. The battle shifted instantly. Human corvettes dove back into the fray, striking the enemy's exposed flanks. Finish them, Voss said, his voice a razor's edge. Inside the command deck, the tension thickened as the holographic battlefield shimmered with new readings. The final enemy cruiser, realizing the ambush, began retreat maneuvers. They're pulling back, Hale said. No, Voss murmured, studying the pattern. They're regrouping. They want to see how we respond when they run. They're testing morale? Brand asked. Exactly. If we let them go unscathed, they'll mark us as weak. Voss's eyes narrowed. Hunter's Dawn locked missiles on their engines. I want that ship disabled. The comm crackled. Captain Elias Crane's gruff voice responded from Kepler Station. With pleasure, a volley of guided missiles streaked across the void, slamming into the cruiser's engines. The alien vessel spun out of formation, vending debris before detonating in a silent flash of blue fire. For down, Brand said, almost disbelieving. The last one's gone dark. Leave it, Voss said. Let them retreat. I want them to carry the message we don't break. Aftermath. The battle lasted only 40 minutes. When the last fragment of alien hull drifted into void, the Iron Citadel received the all-clear. Helios Station, though battered, still stood. Damage reports? Voss asked. 2 corvettes lost, Hale said quietly. Hunter's Dawn took heavy hits, but will recover. Civilian casualties on Helios, 70 confirmed. A muscle in Voss's jaw tightened. 72 many. They hit us hard, Hale added, but we gave worse back. Voss nodded once. And now they know our teeth are sharp. Kepler Station, post-battle debrief. Voss's holographic projection flickered in the war room aboard Kepler Station. Commander Crane stood on the other end, his uniform scorched. Not bad for a warm-up, Crane said. But they'll be back with something bigger. You know that. I'm counting on it, Voss replied. Next time, we won't wait for them to make the first move. Crane's brow furrowed. You're thinking offense? We need to hit them where they least expect it. Voss said, show them humanity isn't prey. We strike first, and we strike hard. Private moment. Later, alone in the Citadel's observation deck. Hale approached Voss as he stared at the stars. The faint glow of Kepler 9's moon shimmered in the distance. You pushed the Valkyries hard today, she said. Locke lost 2 pilots. They knew the cost, Voss replied without turning. We're not fighting for glory. We're fighting to survive. Every pilot understands that. You sound like you're preparing them for something worse, she said. Voss finally looked at her. His eyes were tired, but fire burned in them still. Because I am. This was just a test strike. The real war hasn't started yet. The Citadel buzzed with renewed energy that night. Crews worked through exhaustion, repairing ships, loading munitions, and recalibrating the orbital defenses. The victory at Kepler was small, but it lit a spark, proof that humanity could stand against the Empire's might. Voss watched from the bridge as a fresh wave of ships launched toward the outer colonies, their engines blazing like fireflies against the dark. Send word every commander, Voss said. No retreat, no fear. If they want this war, they'll choke on it. The Empire's main fleet entered the Sol system like a tidal wave of steel and fire, their dreadnoughts blotting out the stars. Hundreds of ships, war engines the size of cities, moved in perfect formation, their hulls glowing faintly with the heat of their jump drives. At their head, the Imperial flagship Phyrexian Spear radiated menace, its colossal spires bristling with energy cannons capable of vaporizing continents. From the Iron Citadel's command deck, Admiral Voss studied projections. The enemy formation was precise, symmetrical, almost elegant in its deadliness. They brought everything, he said, voice calm but cutting. 3 fleets, Captain Hale confirmed, her tone tight. Their forward line alone carries enough firepower to level every station in orbit. Voss didn't look away. Then we make the forward line bleed first. Pre-battle preparations. The Citadel vibrated as a defense grid came online. Rail cannons locked into position, targeting data streaming across holographic displays. Along the asteroid belt, concealed drone swarms powered up, waiting for Voss's command. Lieutenant Brandt read the readiness reports. Martian rail arrays at full capacity. Titan's heavy batteries are charged. Harbinger weapon at 80% power. 80% will have to do, Voss said. We won't get another chance to test it. Engineer Myra Celeste entered, wiping grease from her hands. Harbinger's coil alignment is holding, but the discharge will fry half our systems. We'll be fighting blind for minutes after firing. Then we time it perfectly, Voss replied. Not a second early, not a second late. Opening salvo. The first shot came from the Empire. A beam of pure energy lanced through space, skimming past the Martian defenses and striking an unmanned relay station, reducing it to dust. The battle had begun. Return fire, Voss commanded. The Iron Citadel shuddered as its railguns launched tungsten slugs the size of tanks, each traveling at hypersonic velocity. They ripped through the void, slamming into the lead enemy carrier. The impact tore open its side, venting molten debris into space. They're adjusting formation, Brandt reported, trying to push through the Martian line. Let them, Voss said, activate the decoy grid. The trap, across the asteroid belt. Disguised mines lit up, mimicking the energy signatures of human ships. The Empire's sensors, overwhelmed by false targets, fired in every direction, wasting precious energy on empty space. Hunters dawned to Citadel, came Commander Crane's voice through the comms. We're engaging their flank, pushing them toward the kill zone. Keep them guessing, Voss replied. Don't let them settle into a rhythm. The human fleet moved like a swarm of predators, darting between enemy formations. Corvettes launched micromissiles that tore holes in cruiser hulls. Drones detonated in kamikaze runs, disabling targeting arrays. Admiral, the Spear is holding back. Hale observed, eyes fixed on the flagship's icon on the map. They're watching how we fight. Virex is cautious, Voss said. He wants to see us burn before he steps in. He'll learn the hard way. Escalation. A sudden blast rocked the Citadel. Brant steadied himself at his console. They've breached the outer perimeter. Enemy fighters inbound. Deploy phalanx turrets, Voss ordered. Hale, take command of the forward batteries. We keep them away from Earth. Aye, Admiral. Hale's voice was steady, but her eyes burned with determination. She switched to tactical control, barking orders to gunners as swarms of alien fighters streaked toward the station. The Citadel's guns thundered, shredding enemy fighters in a storm of tungsten and fire. But for every squadron destroyed, 2 more surged forward. The turning point. Admiral, Salas said urgently, Harbinger is at full charge. If we wait too long, we'll lose the shot. Voss's gaze locked on the Spear. Not yet. The Empire's forward line pushed deeper, their dreadnoughts exchanging devastating fire with the Martian batteries. Explosions lit the void like dying stars. Admiral, Titan's defenses are breaking. Brant warned. Voss's jaw tightened. Lock Harbinger on the Spear. Prepare to fire on my command. The Spear reacts. On the enemy flagship, Virex must have realized the danger. The Spear shifted position, moving behind the front lines, its energy shields flaring as it directed a barrage of fire at the Martian outposts. He's hiding, Hale said bitterly. No, Voss corrected. He's watching for the killing blow. Let's give it to him. The strike. Now! Voss roared. The iron Citadel trembled as a Harbinger fired. A spear of white-hot energy, brighter than the sun, tore through space. It struck the Spear's forward shield, overwhelming it in an instant. The blast carved through the flagship's outer hull, vaporizing armor and splitting its spires apart. Direct hit, Brant shouted. The Spear is crippled. Cheers erupted across the command deck, but Voss raised a hand. Don't celebrate yet. They'll come harder now. Counterattack. As if on cue, the Empire's remaining dreadnoughts surged forward, their fire focused on the iron Citadel. Shields flared under the onslaught. Warning alarms blared as impacts rocked the station. Shields down to 60%. Hale reported. Divert power from secondary systems. Voss ordered. Hold the line. The cost. Outside, the Hunter's Dawn rammed an enemy cruiser, detonating its core in a final act of defiance. The explosion lit up the void, taking both ships with it. Crane's gone, Brant said softly, his voice cracking. Voss's face was stone. Then we make his sacrifice count. Pushing them back. With the Spear crippled and their formation disrupted, the Empire's fleet began to falter. Human corvettes swarmed like wolves, tearing into their flanks. The Martian batteries, though battered, unleashed a final barrage that shattered 2 more cruisers. They're retreating, Hale said, disbelief in her voice. Not retreating, Voss corrected. Regrouping. This isn't over. Aftermath of the firestorm. The battlefield fell into eerie silence as the Empire's surviving ships pulled back beyond the asteroid belt. Fires burned in the void, wreckage of ships, both human and alien, drifting silently. Damage report. Voss said, half our fleet destroyed. Brant replied grimly. Citadel shields at 30%. Harbinger offline, coil melted. We can't fire it again. Voss took a slow breath. And the enemy? 7 dreadnoughts lost. Countless escorts destroyed. The Spear is still out there, but it's wounded. Good, Voss said, voice cold. Let them remember this day. Quiet resolve. Later, as the crew scrambled to repair the Citadel, Voss stood with Hale on the observation deck. The wreckage field glittered like broken glass. They'll be back, Hale said. Yes, Voss replied, his voice steady. But next time, they'll know we don't break. We burn, but we fight through the fire. The wreckage of the first battle still drifted like a graveyard when the Empire returned. They came without hesitation, an armada twice the size of the previous fleet, led once more by the Virexian spear. Its damaged spires have been reforged, its energy shields glowing like molten glass. The message was clear. This was not a probe. This was extermination. On the Iron Citadel's command deck, Admiral Voss stood silently as the enemy filled the displays. The air was heavy with the low hum of power conduits, the murmur of tense voices, the heartbeat of a station on the edge of war. They brought everything, Captain Hale said, her tone sharp. No scouts this time. All forward guns are charged. Good, Voss said. His eyes didn't leave the hologram of the enemy formation. They think fear will make us falter. Let's prove them wrong. Final preparations. The Citadel vibrated with activity. Technicians welded new plating over scarred sections of the hull. Drones swarmed like insects across the exterior, repairing shield emitters and patching weapon batteries. Lieutenant Brandt scanned the tactical report. Harbinger is offline. The core shot. No time to rebuild. We don't need Harbinger, Voss replied. We have something better. Hale turned to him. What's better than the one weapon that crippled their flagship? Voss's gaze shifted toward the outer rim of Sol, where asteroid fields gleamed faintly under distant sunlight. We use the system itself as a weapon. Every rock, every station, every ship, turn them into blades. We bleed them until they choke on the void. Contact. The first wave hit hard. Alien fighters descended like locusts, firing plasma bolts that rippled across the Citadel's shields. Human gunships surged forward, railguns spitting fire, carving through enemy squadrons. Front shields at 80%. Brandt called. Divert power to forward batteries. Voss ordered. Target their carriers. Cut off their reinforcements. The Citadel's rail cannons thundered, tungsten slugs piercing through an enemy carrier and detonating its reactor. A shockwave of fire rolled across space. Direct hit, Hale said, her tone clipped, but we're barely scratching their lead ships. They'll break, Voss murmured. We'll make sure of it. The plan unfolds. Signal the fleet, Voss said. Phase 2. Across the asteroid belt, hidden charges detonated, pushing hundreds of massive rocks into the Empire's formation. Some were armed with nuclear warheads, others with electromagnetic disruptors. The Empire's fleet fired wildly, shattering some asteroids, but too many slipped through, tearing into their formations. 3 cruisers down, Brandt reported, excitement flickering in his voice. Keep pressing, Voss said. Virex strikes back. On the Virexian spear, the High Archon responded with calculated fury. A barrage of energy beams slammed into the Martian defense grid, tearing the surface arrays apart. Martian batteries offline. Hale shouted, We've lost their support. Then we become their support, Voss said. Pull our gunships from the flank. Hit the spear directly. That's suicide, Brandt muttered. It's victory, Voss corrected. Hunter's vow. Commander Aidenlock, leader of the Batter Valkyrie squadron, came over the comms. Admiral, this is Locke. We'll make the run. Locke, you've lost half your squadron already, Voss said. Half a squadron, still half a hammer. Just tell us where to hit. Voss's jaw tightened. The spear's reactor spire. It's exposed from the last Harbinger strike. Disable it and we might win this. Locke chuckled grimly. Copy that. Valkyries, saddle up. This is the big one. The spear shadow. The Valkyries streaked across the void, weaving through enemy fire. Alien interceptors swarmed to cut them off, but human corvettes dove in to clear a path. Explosions flared like lightning, fragments of shattered ships tumbling into the dark. Locke's squadron is halfway there, Hale reported, her voice taut. Keep their path clear, Voss ordered. All forward guns, suppressive fire. The Citadel's railguns lit up the void, forcing the Empire's ships to scatter. The gamble. Suddenly, the Citadel shook violently. A plasma bolt from a dreadnought slammed into its shields, dropping them by 30%. Sparks rained from the ceiling as consoles overloaded. Shields at 45. Brandt shouted. Focus on the spear, Voss barked. If we take it down, the rest will break. Locke's final run. Admiral, we're on target. Locke's voice came through, strained but steady. Spires locked. Firing everything we've got. Missiles screamed from the Valkyrie fighters, striking the Spear's reactor spire. The explosions rippled across its surface, tearing open its energy conduits. A pulse of unstable energy surged through the alien flagship. She's crippled. Hale cried, but Locke's voice cut in, grim and calm. We're out of fuel. Can't make it back. Tell them we didn't waste it. Locke! Voss began, but the channel went silent. A final explosion bloomed as Locke's fighter rammed into the Spear's hull, detonating its reactor. The flagship cracked apart in a violent shockwave. The turning tide. The enemy fleet faltered. Without the Spear's coordination, their formation collapsed. Human ships surged forward, railguns and missiles ripping through their disoriented ranks. They're falling back. Brant shouted. We're driving them out of Seoul. Press the attack, Voss said. His voice was firm, but there was a flicker of grief in his eyes. Make sure they don't return. Aftermath. The battle raged for another hour, but the Empire's forces were broken. One by one, their ships jumped out of the system, retreating into the void. When silence finally returned, the Sol system was littered with wreckage, alien and human alike. Status? Voss asked. Fleet losses are severe, Hale said quietly. Half the Valkyrie's gone. Mars' defense is shattered. But Earth stands. Voss looked out at the scattered debris, the price of survival floating in the darkness. Then we hold, he said. The broadcast. Later, aboard the Citadel, Voss stood before the fleet's comm network. His face was worn, his uniform scorched, but his voice was unwavering. This is Admiral Eric Voss of the Earth Defense Fleet. To the Galactic Empire. This was your warning. Come again, and you'll find nothing but fire and steel waiting. Humanity will not bow. We will not break. Stay far away, or we'll finish what you started. Epilogue. As the message echoed through the stars, the iron citadel drifted silently above Earth, scarred but unbroken. Hale stood beside Voss, watching the horizon glow with the first light of dawn. They'll remember this, she said softly. They'd better, Voss replied, because if they don't, the next time we'll take the fight to them.